lockdown. And joining us now from the lockdown is local award-winning filmmaker Ruggero Romano. And thank you so much for being here, Ruggero.
Ciao, Jennifer. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, have you been hearing any of this singing from your place there in Torino? Or are you taking part?
Definitely, the morale has been up here, and I'm really proud about that. And I have to say that as a community here in Italy, the medics and the doctors have been doing an incredible job at containing the virus. And it definitely is an incredible achievement in many ways, but the fight is still happening. The struggle is still happening. And so here we are focusing on the morale and just giving our warmth to the people who are suffering this moment.
Yeah. Now, you're in northern Italy, is that right, in Torino?
Yes, at the moment I'm in Torino, yes.
And so what is it like there right now?
Well, at the moment, the streets are completely empty. So there is nobody on the streets. And still remember and all the every day, just the police going through and reminding us to stay at home, to not leave the place without a specific purpose. So we're definitely here locked in the place. And in some ways, I consider myself lucky because I'm here with the family. And I can go through this moment with my cared ones. And so I consider myself lucky. But of course, my energy also goes to the people who cannot do that, who maybe are out there and are not in Italy, because there might be some pressure and some stress around this. So there are many angles, there are many layers to this situation. And I guess that the sense of community, with the morale going up, that's the key. That's really the key to going through this moment positively.
And so now you were there visiting family, is that right?
Yeah, I actually landed a few days before the lockdown. And my plan is to come back, of course, in May, but we'll have to see how this comes together, because in moments like these, we have to adapt. We have to adapt and we have to prioritize and go back to the core values. So what does it mean to go back to those core values, and how does that impact our lifestyle? Many people have had to give up their work, while some other companies adapt and go and change shapes. And it's interesting to see Italy going through this change and looking at how this is impacting our communities. But again, incredible work. The medics and the sanitary system here is doing an incredible job. And I'm really happy to say that we have been managing to contain this virus so far, because everybody has stayed in their place. And at the same time, the medics, they're working tirelessly to make this happen. So a lot of pride and a lot of love to all of these systems.
For your family who lives there all the time, as you said, you're visiting them right now, what's it like for them being under quarantine, and what is happening? What do they think of everything that's going on?
That's a great question. What I would say to that is that in talking also with my grandmother, this is what is the closest thing that my generation is living that resembles somehow the environment of the war. Of course, it's nothing comparable to that, but it's the closest thing, because being forced to stay at home is just something that I've never experienced before. And I'm curious to see what this is going to extract from the social tissue of the Italians. And in this case, people are in the balcony, just singing out loud and finding ways to solidify and crystallize that sense of community in as many ways as possible.
Sure. So what is a typical day like for Italians and for your family under quarantine? What do you do?
That's another great question. Well, in my case, there isn't much to do unless from reading, watching movies, stepping into important conversations with family. So there is a silver lining to this, and it's that necessity somehow to also step into a more intimate space with your cared ones, and that forges and creates the warmth, creates that fire that's necessary, right? That light, and that hope that is necessary. At the end of the day, hope is what's needed right now.
Yeah.
And so hope is what I send out to the world out there, that there is for sure a solution to this as long as we keep the morale up, as long as we remind ourselves of the true values that create and forge communities. And of course, when we have heroes like the medics and the doctors that work in this way, really, there is a hope. And I can feel it. I can feel the hope. Even if the streets look empty, there is hope here, and I feel it.
Is anyone in your family, or do you know anyone who is sick and trying to get better with the virus?
I personally do not know of anyone who is sick, but of course, if you go down and you research, you will definitely find maybe the friend of a friend of a friend who lives in Milan, because at the moment in Lombardia, that's where there are the most cases. So because there are some friends that I know from Milan, I could probably go down and look into it. But at the moment, I haven't been told about that. I definitely extend my love to whoever is going through this challenge, and it's probably something I cannot even understand going through it, but I definitely do extend my best energy because at this moment, again, we feel closer in spirit when forced to stay further away from each other. And so that's where we have to go. We have to step deeper and recognize the process that Italy is going through, and carve our own history and our own identity through this moment of pain and suffering.
All right. Are you finding yourself, like, are you allowed to leave the place that you're staying in at all, or do you have to arrange times?
So physically, I would be able to leave, right? Mm-hmm. But if you plan to go on longer transits, if you, for example, drive with your car, if you're planning to go outside of Turin, you would have to have a written consent. And of course, police would maybe stop you and just ask you a couple of questions. You cannot go and buy groceries with more than two people.
Sure.
Usually only one person. And if you go inside the car, only two people inside the car. And you have to sit in the opposite seat. So one person sitting in the front and one person sitting on the back. And apparently the police is being very careful about this. And there is definitely some care into this. Again, we hear the police warning us with the megaphone from the streets, reminding us of the importance of staying at home. And this is working. Staying at home is working, is definitely helping the sanitary system to heal the people who are suffering and not be overloaded with more people who are infected. So apparently this is working, and we're going to keep going at it, and we're going to fight this situation together as a community through the help of the sanitary system here.
Thank you so much for being here with us, and stay safe to you and your family, and hopefully this will all end very soon. That's Ruggero Romano.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Ciao.